Hey guys, how we're doing? Welcome back to another video on a Friday morning. I hope you guys have had a good, successful week like I have, and maybe looking forward to a nice, relaxing weekend with your family and loved ones. I'm going to be spending some time continuing to get my racing car ready for the racing season. Now for this video, I was originally planning on talking about mainframe computing in the context of accelerated digital transformation and the core transformation that a lot of banks are going through today, where many banks have got their current core systems sitting on mainframe platforms. But after the last video I put out, where I spoke about banking as a service, a lot of you have written back to me and said, but Paul, aren't you just basically talking about open banking? And I thought it would be worth taking this video to talk about the difference between banking as a service and open banking. And I also think, this is a prime example of an industry in complete disruption. The minute you get an industry in disruption like this, you end up getting loads of new terminologies, ideas and concepts bubbling up to the surface and people getting quite confused. So let's quickly cover this. At a very high level, I would say banking as a service is a business strategy or a banking approach, whereas open banking is a technology and a technology process that enables banking as a service, both of them relying on open APIs and driving a platform banking paradigm. But we'll talk about some of those things in another video. So banking as a service, as I mentioned in the last video, is when a licensed bank offers out end-to-end full banking services and capabilities and functions to a organization or third party that's not a registered licensed bank, to be able to deliver banking services under their own brand. But the banking capabilities are still actually being delivered by the bank. The bank is still the one that ends up with the customer account, etc., etc. It is not that third-party company. We talked about Apple Card as an example in the last video. Open banking, on the other hand, is really predominantly being driven by regulatory compliance, particularly in Europe, in a way to try and drive a competitive force in the banking industry. It's about giving control of the data back to the consumers. So with open banking, what you get is the banks giving access to their customers' data to enable third parties to do interesting things with that data, things like account aggregation. Now, I appreciate that both of these models, banking as a service and open banking, talks about banks giving access to their capabilities to third parties. But I think the biggest distinction here that we need to remember is banking as a service is giving access to full banking functions or banking capabilities to third parties where the bank maybe initially might not have the relationship with the end consumer. Open banking is about giving access to consumer data where the bank already has the relationship with that consumer or that end customer. So there's a big difference there. And also in open banking, what we're talking about is access to the data, right? So that's the difference between banking as a service, which is powered by functionality and technology of open banking. And then the last thing that we've got, which we'll cover in another video, is the whole area of platform banking, or the platformification of the banking industry, which is being driven by open banking and contextual banking and banking as a service. Hope you've enjoyed that. Got any questions? Ping me and we'll talk about it in another video. Looking forward to it. Have a good weekend, guys.